Okay, hopefully this is live for people. Again, how's it going, everybody? What is going on? I was going to just do some video game stuff today, but I'm going to wait a minute because I know if I start programming right now, my T is going to oversteep. Let's adjust the camera angle because it maybe doesn't need to be as high as it is. I moved all the stuff around because I wanted a more neutral background for the talk as opposed to my usual kitchen and books background. And it's still set up for the talk. Well, if I move the camera down anymore, it starts catching the monitor. So either I could move it to the side like it has been historically, and then it could be a little lower, or we could just do this. Maybe this is fine, honestly. Old background is better, maybe. I mean, this one's more boring, but that's fine. It's more neutral. Oh, the picture is probably way too big still. This is going to cover up so much programming. There we go. What games am I playing right now? Not really anything. Do I enjoy streaming? Sometimes. Sometimes it's an annoying pain in the butt. Okay, let me see if the tea is steeped. All right. Curious about my streaming setup. This is just a very boring setup where I just have one computer. I'm going to have a streaming PC soon. Because just PCs can't really run different software on them at the same time in the year 2020. So putting the streaming stuff on a separate PC is better. But right now I'm streaming from the same PC that I do stuff on. So I have a little bit of stuff in the game that I want to catch up on. Like just little tasks that have been done. Let's see. So one thing is if we go to the overworld, this is something that broke recently when I did some big changes. So if I'm like editing the overworld, and then I hit Control F11, which is how you sort of put that into gameplay and launch it. Like it's running, but the camera's like off in the middle of nowhere, right? It's like the camera is... Maybe the camera's at the origin, honestly. But it's, you know, it's not updating in the fashion that it should be. So I want to debug that, first of all. And then we'll see, there's a few other things we could do that could be fun. Okay. So I'm just going to do all that, what I did again, but from an executable attached to a debugger. And then we'll step in and we'll see why it is not doing the right thing. And we can do that by saying, what up, camera? Update game camera. So we should be going here once every frame. Yep. So we get the camera control and we decide what to do. And something about what we are deciding to do is why am I doing this? There must have been a reason to do this before, but anyway. So we're not in free camera. This is saying, are we in key free camera? Let's clean that up because we have better syntax now. So we could just say this. So control per screen camera is not set, and that is very, very, very strange. Like what? What? I was expecting a weirder failure than that. Okay. Is there like more than one? If I go back, is there just like more than one camera? There are two cameras. And so it's just picking the wrong one. What is this one? Data, levels, overworld. Maybe that was there the whole time. 44, 1873. 44. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to delete this entity for now. And we're going to save it. There we go. It worked. So that was easy. Well. specify that. Oh, yeah. No, Casey didn't write. Casey did not write remedy. Someone named George wrote remedy. You just got exposed to gimbal lock, so getting comfortable with quaternions. Yep, well, yep, quaternions are good to be able to use. Actually, so here's the trick. You don't like actually need, if all you want to do is avoid gimbal lock, you don't totally need quaternions. You can use another representation that makes a little more sense and is close to quaternions, like just an axis angle. So all rotations can be expressed as one like 3D vector axis, and then one angle of rotation around that axis. It's a little bit, it's maybe not totally clear why that is, but it is true. And quaternions, actually, once you know that, you can see how quaternions actually encode that information in a different way. The thing that quaternions give you is smooth interpolation, right? If you interpolate like an axis angle representation, it's not very good. But it's easier to think about in some way if you're not used to quaternions. Did I overcome my Dropbox issues? I mean, I never really had non-overcomable issues. It's just I keep getting more and more annoyed with it over time. It's like they just keep making it worse and worse and worse. Am I on vacation again? Nope. We just changed the setup in this room. It's the same room I usually stream from at home. It's just a different wall of it because I wanted a clean background for the talk we did yesterday. Did somebody like buy Dropbox, or did they IPO, or are they, what are they now? The standard does not specify if plain character is signed or unsigned. So there is no plain character data type in this programming language, so we don't have that problem. And it's because we don't want that problem. All you have to do is define your types, and you don't have that problem. There are lots of problems in C and C++ that are easily avoidable just by defining your types. How come I abandoned networking after that first traumatic experience tank game? What are you talking about? What are you even talking about? You're making a lot of assumptions there, none of which are true. I mean, like if you're designing a programming language and the programming language has number types in it, you have to decide how those behave. And you can make better decisions or worse decisions. And C historically made some decisions that probably made sense at the time, but in the year 2020 are pretty bad decisions about what those types should be. Do you ever use projective geometry in practice? Not really. When it comes to geometric algebra, there are lots of flavors of geometric algebra, and one of the flavors that people seem to like is one where you bring the point at infinity in, right? And that's like it's the standard thing where you have one extra dimension and you use it projectively and you can like do extra stuff. That never totally thrilled me very much. I always liked just regular geometric algebra. Yeah, I don't know. Could I give you an example for C? The fact that adding 1 to an integer in C is not a well-defined or safe operation. Adding 1 to an int in C is what is now called undefined behavior. For half the values of that integer. And so if you don't know the values of that integer at compile time, which you probably don't, then you just have to assume it's undefined behavior if you're being conservative. What goes wrong if you add 1 to an integer? If you add 1 to an integer, your compiler will launch the nukes and destroy Russia and China. Could that be worked around by always initializing an int to 0? No. No, it cannot. Actually, no, you're right. I was actually wrong when I said half the numbers. That's not right. There's only 2 values. Okay, okay. There are 2 values for which adding 1 is undefined. I don't know why I said half. I was kind of sick today, so I'm not at mental full health. Right, so or just one actually. There's just one for adding. Adding is different. So I was thinking of shifting. So let's put it this way. Okay. Left shift of an integer by 1 in C is UB for half of integers. Adding 1 is actually only UB for one integer, and that's when the integer is the highest positive value, because you would overflow into a signed number, and that's not allowed. Or you would, sorry, it's a signed number the whole time. You would overflow from a value that's positive to a value that's negative, and that's not defined in C. And by not defined, what that means in the year 2020 is your compiler can launch the nukes and destroy Russia and China. It's actually not zero. It's, not zero is -1. It's fine to add. I'm talking about signed integers, right? For unsigned integers, that's true, but for signed integers, it's the max positive integer. But yeah, the left shifting is bad for half of integers, because if you shift so that there's a negative, if you shift from, basically left shifting on a signed integer at all is UB, because you're not allowed to shift into the sign bit. It's like, okay, great. So if you shift something into the sign bit, I guess at all, like the reason I said half was because if you shift unsigned to signed, or it's positive to negative or negative to positive, that's definitely UB. But I guess it's UB for anything. Is that true? What's the actual rule on left shift? You're assuming that only one number can overflow, but the spec doesn't say numbers are 2's complement. So if it's signed magnitude, you're pretty sure there are two numbers that might. Yeah, I mean, the number representation could be anything, right? So yeah. All shifts are undefined. All left shifts are undefined for sign types. Yeah, I think that's true. It's just, there's no reason for these things. Well, there was a reason in 1970, which is that you had a lot of different kinds of computers, and you didn't want your code to be slow, right, by having to emulate certain behavior that the other computers wouldn't do. But A, we don't have that many different kinds of computers today, and B, it's not that slow to emulate these things if you had to, and C, the right solution to doing this kind of stuff is to be more specific about what operations you're performing and what your types are, and then you can avoid that kind of problem in the first place, right? That's all. Was I impressed by Carmack's ideas about functional programming in C++? I am not sure what you're referring to. What do you mean for left shift? Left shift is a fundamental operation in C and C++. Okay. Let's do something fun. So we got, let's make sure Sokoban's updated. There's the dude from Promise. Let me make a release. Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. So let's make something graphically better. I'm gonna paste some stuff into this buffer. Do I schedule what to work on? Not really. I mean, sometimes I schedule things when there are important deadlines and stuff, but usually I just work on what I feel like, which is a problem sometimes because sometimes I don't work on stuff that really has to get worked on. What level am I on? Whoa. Okay, we updated and things are broken now. What the? Maybe I need to update this. That's a thing we need to fix. Nope. Rip game. Do I have like a conflict? I shouldn't because I was unmodified. Hope. Oh, you know what? I think I didn't recompile and then I ran and it's trying to use the wrong set of shader variables and stuff. Let's see. Oh, hello rating peoples. What's going on? How are things? What do the people think about the things? It's a lot of people showing up. We better do some good video games while they're here. You think many things about the things? Oh my God. Don't let news about that get out. All right, so what we're going to do now, this is a debug build, so it's a little bit slow, but like this guy, when he picks up gems, right now, see there's some code. Whoa, we need to work on the animation. Look at that. He's like snapping. That's actually an official task for me. Wow. But anyway, when he picks up gems, they just sort of float there. And if we zoom in, you can see they're just kind of hovering above him. And if I do the cheat code to give myself lots of gems, they're just kind of hovering, right? But we got a new rigging of this backpack and there's pockets on it and there are bones in the mesh for me to put the gems in the pockets from code. So now there's only 6 pockets instead of 9 or whatever, but you only need to know how many you have up to a certain point. So we're gonna put the gems in the right pockets so that then when he walks around, they'll like animate with him and be cool instead of this, see? Instead of just being all programmery like that. And then they can respond to like model physics and stuff. I think they're a frame late, maybe. Okay, so let's do that. I have to figure out where that stuff happens. I don't know where this is. One person is saying raid, raid, raid. I guess you put everybody to sleep before you handed them over. All right, so gems. I guess it's slot ID. There's some way that we know if they're in, inventory index. Let's try that. inventory index. Yeah, all right. Let's go there. Position gem into inventory. Aha. We actually set the mount bone name. This is going to be easy. We set the mount bone name on the thing. Oh, but wait, there. We don't set the position here. Oh, we do. Oh, we do. Okay. Great. This is good. All right. So these are our bone names, right? So let's say backpack slot names. Whoops. Come on. All right. Because we're programmers, we'll do that. So I'm going to clean this up in a second, but I'm going to say pos is v3000. We're going to have to scale these correctly in a minute, but the gems are already being scaled somewhere else during rendering, so we're going to want to take that out, or we're going to do something. But anyway, I'm just going to do this for a second, and I'm going to do this. For now, we're just going to put it in the slots if we have one, otherwise this, and we make it invisible otherwise. So if it's less than the number of slots, then we say like that. All right. Let's actually, because this level is really intensive because there's just a lot of entities and we have to optimize our renderer. So, let's, we need to change our startup level. Okay. So I'm just going to go gems. That. Okay. That actually totally didn't work at all. Wait, what? Or did it? Are they? So it could be that we didn't do the rotation correctly, but I don't think so, because why did we get 9? Why did we get 9 gems? Like, what's happening? What did I do? Is this like not being used for some reason? Wait, we might not be using it. Why are we calling this twice? I bet we're doing this every frame or something. Nope. This is totally commented out. Did we like not successfully compile? I feel like we did. Sure looks like we did. I mean, this is a giant mess, but sure looks like we did. Oh, we actually... See, okay, so I set that at the wrong time. I feel like this is still not going to work, but let's see. We're going to run it in the debugger under the theory that it's not going to work, and then we'll see why. Well, it kind of did something different at least. Now all the gems are... I mean... I don't really have a way to draw the bones in the game. But it sure looks like it's just on the wrong bone, right? Like it's on some bone. Are we getting errors of not being able to find the bone? No. Okay, so let's go to maintain mounts. So this is the thing where, don't do that. This is the thing where, actually, I don't want to delete that now because our debugger will get confused by having the wrong number of lines. So here is when you set what bone name to mount another entity on and stuff. This is where that happens. And so we can check to make sure that it's actually like finding it. And stuff. All right. Okay, so here rig art pouch bottom, etc. Okay, that is, let's see which one that is. It's like the last one. Do we get another one? Rig L pouch. Okay, great. So we're checking this. And for some reason, we're doing it every frame, which is not great. Okay, we would get an error if we didn't find it, because this code would tell us, right? So index, it's on bone 153. So maybe our mount bone index doesn't actually work in this engine. Maybe I never did this in this engine. Position only so far. Okay, that's not good. I have a little more work to do than I thought. Okay. So are these output matrices all in the same? space. I feel like... So before we set this, it's 0, 0, 0. Great. And then after, it's tiny. I bet there's a scale and stuff. Well, there is a scale because this is... come on, people. But it is using that bone matrix. So it should show up in the right position, but unfortunately, these all go to approximately the same position. Well, let's just see. So let's see if it's exactly the same. Oh my God, look at all this stuff. This is not good right here. Oh, maybe it's... like, this is like gameplay position stuff, which we really shouldn't be setting for like stuff that's in your backpack, but we're going to let that slide for a bit. So this is 8.01. I'm just going to copy these values. Oh. Come on, let me copy the value. You can't copy the whole thing. You can only copy an element. All right. Now, okay, we're going to just go back through the loop here. This is a different entity, right? I just want one that's in a different pouch. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's not what we cared about. We cared about this. So 8.01826, 10.89009. No, so they are different numbers. It's just that when there's scale in the transform, we are not handling it correctly. The problem is there's another bug that's related. This is going to be a yucky thing to stream because I don't honestly want to work on any of this right now. I wanted to do something quick and easy that would just work. But sometimes when you have known problems, they stick around and mess up other things. So it's a known problem on my to-do list that like something isn't right about scaling. And then I guess it was a known problem that I forgot about, that we don't even like do the right thing when it comes to positions and orientations and all this stuff. When it comes to mounted objects. And we're going to want to make mounted objects a little bit better. Okay. Let's just look at, let's refresh my memory. Right, so we have current states, we have output matrices. That's what we're using. But I feel like we should be able to use the X-form states, which would give us, the reason we're only doing position here is because we just have these matrices. And like, it's annoying and ugly to go from a matrix back out to like a rotation. That's nasty. But beforehand, we have it. So we have this state. This is an X-form state, which is a data structure that is it here? Yeah. This just has these things broken out, right? Which is nice. It's convenient. And this is at the very last stage of animating. So this includes like here's where we do the math, and you know, this is this is like what the math factors into if you have one of these. If you do the equivalent of multiplying the matrices of the parent matrix with the child matrix, but you do it on these, right? Okay, so this is mostly what we want, is this before we turn it into the matrix. The problem is we have this rest space matrix. That I don't think we have in a more convenient form. Let's see. We might. Oh, we might. Nope, it is literally just a matrix 4. That's really annoying. Because it means okay, so the one reason why it's really gross to try to extract information from a matrix is A, it's kind of slow, and B, there's a little bit of ambiguity. C, you're subject to numerical error. But the rest object space transforms are constant. So any numerical error, if we extract these at the beginning when we set an animation, is going to be constant. And then we could say, hey, we want to put these in the file format later in a better form, because having them as a matrix 4 is kind of terrible. You know what, though? I want to do this later. because this turned into a bigger job, and this isn't the kind of thing I'm in the mood to do right now. So I'm just going to leave it where it's at and work on something else. Because this isn't really blocking anything. Whereas there's other stuff that if I do it, it will enable people to do more work. So I think that's the strat here. Yeah, I look over in chat and everyone's talking about the web. Why don't we talk about something about computers that's interesting? All right. Some progress on... I might do a separate stream on this. I don't know, maybe I won't. It's one of these things where there's just a number of things that are starting to pile up about the mesh format, and it's like maybe it's time to change the mesh format. Okay, some progress on backpack stuff, but transforms are messed up. Let me write down on a piece of paper over here what, oh, come on. Right, I have a no check-in. Let's at least clean that up a little bit. So all this stuff, this was just my code that, like, you know, does that thing that we had. And we're not going to do that anymore. So we are going to instead of doing this, we're going to say this just gets set to 0. So we're just going to initialize all those things to defaults. Oh, we already set these things down here. And then here, we're going to say visible is false. And then we're going to set this. All right. Yeah, it's global. Okay. Let's actually swap this. All right. So that is cleaner, but won't. Come on. But won't. Why do I have so many windows open? Do we not have a mount scale? Oh, really? All right. In your own game, you loop over every entity that exists, switch on the type enum, and do whatever it needs to be done to update it. But you've heard people say you should instead loop over every entity of one type at a time. What's the benefit of this approach? So it all depends on how many entities you have. If you don't have very many entities, what you're doing is totally fine. All right. Looping by type. Wow, look at how messed up the turning is. I kind of don't know what's going on there. You have to debug that. Looping by type means that you'll go to the same code many times in a row. Like if you have a function that handles a particular entity, which means you'll take fewer instruction cache misses, right? You may be visiting the same data a lot for whatever, however you handle that entity type, so you'll take fewer data cache misses. And it also means that you could structure the storage in your engine so that those entities themselves have storage next to each other if they're of the same type. And then you're iterating over that in order, so that'll be much faster. But none of that matters if you have 10 entities. Okay. So this turning thing really bothers me, but like I said, I want to work on the gameplay problem because that is the most relevant. It's weird, when the frame rate is lower, it doesn't happen that much. Very strange. Much bigger snap. Or smaller snap, interestingly. Well, we'll look at that later. Right now I'm going to heat up some tea and then... Wait, why do we have another copy of the game running in the debugger? Still. I'm going to get some tea and then we'll work on the gameplay thing. Oh, come on. Oh yeah, this. We're just gonna make sure we compile. Why do I have so many windows? All right. Get rid of that, sadly. I just feel like I have too many windows, but it's normal. If visible statements are in the wrong order, question mark. I don't know what that sentence means. What kind of shadow mapping techniques in this game using cascaded? No, it's not going to need cascaded because scenes fit on one screen for the most part. So it's just regular boring shadow maps. Am I a happier person that I don't use Visual Studio? I do use Visual Studio, sadly, for some things. What are you talking about? It's like people see 5 minutes of a stream and they assume they know everything about my life. Okay. So there's the overworld in this game, right? And the plan for a long time has been that you solve particular levels, and it, like, when you solve a particular level, it'll unlock like some kind of objects, right? Like maybe a block that you could push around, or like a beam, like the kinds of puzzle objects that we have elsewhere in the game. But it would unlock them and let you start using them and stuff. And we do not yet have a way to do that. And so I want to start putting that into the game. So I want to add an entity type that represents this thing that like holds another entity and kind of keeps it frozen there until released. And so the question is, what's that going to look like? I don't want to do any procedural rendering. So like, I just want a mesh that's going to be kind of, maybe kind of obvious. And these are animated, so I don't totally want to go there. But we could use like this or something. It's pretty obvious that it's there. But it doesn't completely hide whatever's in the square, you know what I'm saying? If we use a big old mesh like this, you might not be able to see what's there. So I'm going to just take this for now. It's editor UI marker B. And we're going to add an entity type, and we're going to say what the default mesh is for that. What is this going to be called? It's going to be called case. I'm going to make it, it's a freezer, because it has entities frozen until you can use them. Right, okay. We don't have such thing as a freezer yet. So we're going to add that. And that's going to be actually kind of like a gate in that when you unfreeze it, it's going to have some parameters that control that. Got my tea now. Okay, so I'm just going to copy the gate entity, except then delete a lot of it. So it's going to be freezer, and the flavor is gone. Open, we'll leave open, that's fine. And we're going to leave that. Maybe we'll change the color. Let me just see. So if does this mesh respond to override colors? Yes. So we can have this be like an icy color like this. Let's actually let you set these. We're going to say there's a couple of colors on it. Frozen and unfrozen. Right? And those aren't any version. In fact, this is version 1. Okay. And then we're going to use this color. We're going to poke it into the override color. So where does override color happen? That's entity color. I'm just trying to put this in a place that won't add way more if statements to our renderer. And I'm going to restructure this a little. Oh, no, that was a good reason to keep it that way. All right, so let's do this. And then case freezer. Let's call it unfrozen instead of open. Just so we know, it's fine. Unfrozen T. It's the new movie from Disney is Unfrozen. So we're going to set that. Unfrozen T doesn't really happen yet. So we have to make that happen. E dot, oh, yeah, we'll just say T target, right? And then E dot unfrozen T like that. The gate has these two things because we want it to close faster than open or whatever, but these probably won't ever like refreeze. So we just do one interpolation. Is my T ready? Let's see. We'll steep it a little more. Okay, second steeping. Could use a little more kick. So we're going to do that. And then we need to do, when you undo immediately, you don't want something like this value is not being saved in undo because we marked it no serialized. So you want to set it anytime we do undo, right? So we have post, undo, reevaluate. And I bet we have something for gate in there. Yeah. And in fact, we can do this. That should work. If that doesn't work, then I'll be sad. Okay, so for every freezer, So we're converting the bool to a float, which will be either 0 or 1, right? So that's all. Okay. That might be enough to have something. I mean, these will never become unfrozen. We're going to have to, oh, you know what? Let's do that. So before we actually have to add a version and then tag a thing as only being in version 2 or whatever, we know this other thing, level entry. These are things that are all over the overworld, and they're unlocked by various stuff. And so we can, for now, put these. Which just means you can have up to 3 different things unfreeze this, but we're not going to rename this because it's, I don't know. You know, I mean, honestly, we should make a struct for this, but we're not going to do unlocked from left because that doesn't make sense anymore. So we're just going to do these. And, you know, they default to 0 or false. And we're not going to actually worry about making code unlock them yet. We're just going to do the thinger. Okay. Oh, we want overworld. Okay. So I'm just going to put one here. I need to make the default instantiate have better behavior when you just hit the instantiate button. Okay, so our color frozen is going to be like an icy color, sort of, and our color unfrozen is going to be I don't know, like that. All right, so that is going to be how that works. Now, we did forget to put something, so I'm actually not going to save this. Oh, actually, let's actually set the default colors. But if I don't save this, we don't have to bump the version number. So all right. One. And we're just putting those in the entity defaults fields. That's fine. Oh, let me put these here though. Put this down at the bottom because it's unserialized. And okay, the thing that I forgot to add was what is the entity ID let's call this. So what is that? because it's going to have some entity there. And in fact, you'll be able to recall the entity at some point. All right. Oh, I forgot my tea. Now it might be too steeped. Let's see. This particular Earl Grey that I'm drinking is not that strong on multiple steepings. All right. So she's at 62.49. Just get the entity over there. Oh, we didn't set, yeah, there we go. We want to set that by default because if that's not turned on, it doesn't poke the colors. Okay, so next, here's the thing. This ID of the frozen thing, actually, no, before we worry about that, let's give ourselves like a test. So we're going to have like a block or a stone on this, right? Like here. And we want to be able to not move that because this is going to be like graphics of this thing being frozen and stuff, right? Just like in the movie. So we want to not be able to move that. And there's nothing in the code that says that yet. All right, so we're going to go back to the entity and say, say the default for that. Yeah. Do I still feel like I'm getting better at game design and programming? Yes. Yes. I mean, I do way more programming than I do game design. So, if anything, I have a tremendous amount to improve at game design. Okay, so we need it to be that you can't move stuff if it's in a thing. And we have a function called isStuckInsideWall. And I think if we modify that, that should be fine. Actually, before we do that, let's just verify that we can move the thing, right? Because I'm actually not sure that we will because, oh, in fact, we probably won't be able to. Let me do some other things too. Let me just, I want to get rid of the extra characters on this level because we need to be more serious about that. All right, so there we go. Now if I reset the level, we're just going to default to our character down here. Can she do this? Oh, she can. Oh, but there's no... What happened to the frickin' freezer? It doesn't draw during gameplay. That's what happened to it. So we need to do that. We need to say, this is actually a thing that draws during gameplay. We have this thing. Like all this stuff we actually could set in the entity structs, like we just did with the use override color, but let's not do too many structural changes right now while we're just trying to get things done. So We still can't see it. Why not? Why can we see it here in the editor? Oh, it might be... This might be something about the frickin' shader, guys. Like, there's something where the artists can, like... Let me try this. There might be like a flag on the shader. I've been burned by this before. Yeah, that's what it is. There's a flag on that entity types shader that says, whoops. So we're going to change what the default mesh is because we didn't really need it to be that mesh. That said, none of these meshes are like super visible. Let's just try this one. Oh, that's pretty good. It might be hard to see things sometimes. Okay, that's A. So crystal blocker. Oh, what's going on? Oh, these are scaled up. These are all teensy. I don't want to add scale to gameplay entities meshes, bro. You know, whatever. The artists can deal with this. And actually, we can scale it down as it unfreezes. That'll be our programmer version. Okay, here's what we're going to do. So we're going to have the default mesh. Where was it? Entity defaults. That's a sensible place. Wait, what was it? Crystal blocker A, is that right? Hope that was right. Let's find out. So the override color, I don't know how that's going to look when we animate it, but yeah, crystal blocker A. But the scale we will definitely see. So we're going to here. Where does scale come from? There we go. Like, let's like at least put these together so that it's obvious that we're switching on entity type twice. I'm not going to try to optimize that right now. Okay. Actually, let's do this. F dot scale is lerp 2 1 F dot unfrozen T. Oh no. I'm not used to scale being a vector 3. Okay, that is not the best mesh because it's not really centered on the thing. So let's try B and A again. Oh, what a pain in the butt. The problem is that the editor code doesn't know about the ray. Oh, come on, guys. Is there a D? Like, none of these are centered on the center of mass. Oh my God. Sometimes 3D modelers just don't have the same priorities that I do. You know what I'm saying? Is there an E? I doubt it. Nope. All right, that's going to be what it is. That's going to be really annoying to deal with in the editor for people. I don't know what to do about that. I mean, is there something else I can use where I don't have to do that? I guess it doesn't have to be crystal. Let's go back here for a second. I mean, we could use any of these even. It's just we can't use these frickin' markers. I hate that. Why did you guys do that? Okay. We could use like these. They'll be nice and big and easy to see. And then we could scale them down to 0. Are these actually centered? They are actually centered. Let's do that. So we're going to do this. I'm going to take out the scaling. We're going to scale from, instead of 2 to 1, we're going to scale from 1 to 0 or 1 to 0.2. It's just going to get real small. Is it time for editor tooling? No, that is not something you want editor tooling for, because what I did was I put a dumb hack of scaling in the draw routine that there's no way for the editor to know about, and you don't want to make the editor deal with that. You just want to do things in a better way. All right, so this is fine. Now we have to go back to the thing that I was saying about we don't want to be able to do this. We can now finally see it during gameplay, but we don't want to be able to push stuff off it unless it's unlocked. So stuck inside wall is here. All right, we're going to say just find type at it does. Okay. So I can actually use the entity type because this is polymorphic and returns you whatever this is. So this is great. If it's a freezer and freezer dot and it's not unfrozen, return true. All right. That should prevent us from doing the ting-tangler. Remember to also update the editor code for the mesh. It's a good point. Okay, look, I can't push this. Okay. So let's update the editor code for the mesh, the entity defaults. What was this mesh called again? This. Okay. And now we want that to be able to be unlocked. And the way that works for the level entries is we just iterate frickin' over all of them. Whoops, just reloaded the level. I'm trying to remember, we turned on profiling a while back, and I don't even remember what key I put that. Isn't it a function key? There we go. Yeah, so like you can see, we're spending all this time in the debug build in the drawing code. It's just not something we're going to fix right now because we're waiting for the new rendering backend to come in. Although update move transactions is taking way too long for what it does. Okay. Well, I guess the reason those weren't on center of mass is because they want to use them like this and put them around the edges of things. So it's made so that the center of mass is empty intentionally. Aha! I get it. Okay. Now what? So if we search for unlocked by ID, we'll see the code where this other stuff happens. Actually, so this first stuff, this is a sanity check to make sure things aren't messed up. We should go put them in there too. But then here is the actual unlocking. Oops. Let's do that. This is unlock new level entries. And I guess this is iterative because I don't know why it's iterative, because we only unlock if solved. So we're going to make a thing exactly like this called unlock new freezers. And we're just going to iterate over every freezer. And actually, we're going to factor this out because we're going to use it by both of these. Okay. Oh, weird. You know what? I'm going to factor all this out. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. So we're going to factor, because we want these same terms for our new entity as well. So we're just going to do this, and then this code will apply to both. All right. Okay. So this is ID 1. Okay. So ID 1 kind of needs to be set, and then 2 or 3 could be set. This is really not... I kind of want to do this a different way around. Because I want you to be able to just set these in any order. Like, because you might have a level that was set to ID 1, and then you delete that level, and you don't want to have to reorder the slots. Like, that's annoying, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go if it's an OR gate, right, else it's an AND gate. All right, so we're going to do this. If it's an OR gate, we'll say solved is false. Actually, we don't need to do this. We do this. All right. If it's an AND gate, actually, let's put this out here. Okay, if it's an AND gate, then we want to say exactly like this, but with rejects, right? So we say if any of the IDs are not set, if they're 0, then we don't care, and we could return true. But like if there's nobody who could unlock this and it's an AND gate, we just say, well, we're just going to let it be unlocked. Otherwise, if any of the requirements are not solved, we say it's not solved. Otherwise, we say it is solved. So any of these could be 0 and the order doesn't matter. And hopefully I didn't break that real bad. Now that's nicer code than what we had. I think. Okay, so what's it called? Unlocked. Okay. Whoops, we forgot the return values. Okay, let's put our is solveds next to each other, just for cleanliness. And let's put this even local to this. All right. Okay, now the thing is, there's no way to unlock this. So we need to make a way. So let's make a way. Like in Jurassic Park, life finds a way. Okay. we're just going to copy one of these. Here, this is going to be called unlock test. And this is going to start enabled. It is not solved, right? So there we go. Unfortunately, we can't, if we go there, it'll be bad because there's no such level. So it like fails to load. So let's make such a level. And also let's set this. So this guy's ID, we can copy, it's 4935. So then we put that here. All right. So now if we solve this level, it should unlock this. And who knows what will happen. But we need to make that level. Okay. This is going to be a very exciting level. Are you ready? We're going to do this. Whoops. I'm going to delete these things. We're going to have an exit that you have to get to. It's a very challenging level where you have to get to the exit. Oops. Whoa. Oh, come on, bro. That's so weird. I feel like that broke. Okay. It's the castle. You have to get through the castle. All right. And it's such a nice castle. It's a multicolor castle. All right. So we go here, we go boop. We go, uh-oh. Is that because it already knows what the level sets are? Let me see. Or maybe it doesn't like that it's a drafts. Let's see. Why didn't it work? There's nothing there. Did I already have a level called unlock tests? What's going on? Oh, did I save it under the wrong name? Did I not save it? Did I just do my awesome castle and then just not hit save? Is that what actually happened? I might have just edited Bardstone test, right? Oh yeah, okay. So we'll just save as. I meant to copy the level and do a save as. All right, here we go. Unlock test. So let's go to the overworld. See, sometimes game development is really difficult. So we go here, we take that, and it takes us here. And we solve this very difficult puzzle. And that unlocks this, hopefully. And I don't see that thing scaling. Oh, you know what, guys? We never called our frickin' function. the one that actually does the unlocking. We made the function unlock new freezers. We never called it. And if you want to succeed in the game industry, etc. Actually, let's do this. Okay, so now it cleared on level load. See how it shrunk like that? Because we saved our state. So let me go delete that level from our save game. Am I user? Am I default? Who am I? Really? Okay, so I think if I find overworld.history here, yes. So I'm just going to delete that. And now we will be back at the beginning. And that didn't matter. What? Oh, because that's a different file. It's not in the history file. It's in the Sokoban status file. Sokoban status says what levels you have solved. Okay. Here we go. So now I cannot do this. I'm going to go to the level. I'm going to run around. Now I can do this. Boop. We didn't really see it happen, but that's something we can work on. It's fine for now because it's enough that, you know, we can work on the gameplay. That's what's important. What's going on with the turning, man? It's so jacked. Okay, so that's good. And then I was wanting to add the ability to recall objects back to the point. And before we can have that ability, we need to say what the object is. And there was also this thing that I forgot to put in about, so if you do it by standing on the thing. We talked during a call today about whether to do it by standing on the level or standing on the thing. But if you're on the, like if you could unlock it from multiple different ways, then that's not necessarily, doesn't give you a consistent place to stand maybe. So I kind of want it to be you stand on the thing and then it steps you off in a particular direction. All right. And then we probably want to check if that's inside a wall or whatever. So when we save the level, we want to detect, is there a gameplay entity in this square? And if there is, then that's our entity. I'm getting hungry. Getting hungry. Are the birds implemented using particle system? They are, but honestly, that's not my favorite way to do birds. It was just an experiment that we did. Is the talk going to be on YouTube? Yes. I just want to edit it a little bit and so forth. So within a couple days, probably. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the turning. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know what I feel like, but yeah, it's messed up. It was fine, and then magically one day it's messed up. Let me warm up another thing of tea. Are there any questions before I go do this next step of the thing? Questions on topic. Questions. Well, it could be on topic or near the topic. Topic adjacent. Do I ever drink coffee? No, I do not like coffee. Are the character animations fully keyframed? Yes. There is claw simulation in the animations, which means that it looks a little bit weird during blends. Is there actual code or data difference between gameplay entities and non-gameplay entities? No, I mean, so non-gameplay entities, we know they can't really move around in response to things, so we don't have to like worry about putting them into undo. We don't have to check to see if they need to move due to being mounted on things. So there are definitely some code differences. Yeah, I don't know what is the deal with the Insobot. Is it saying that a lot? If it is, I'll just ban Insobot. No, it's not saying it that much. Yeah, we can't. The word frame can't be a trigger for something like that. Was shader catalog just a name choice, or is there some design to it that makes it I don't know. What is necessary for something to be a catalog, in your opinion? All right, everybody. We are going to have a healthy programmer dinner, aka like 1/3 of my diet in college. I ate noodles and McDonald's 99-cent hamburgers and drank a lot of Coca-Cola. That's basically, oh, and pizza. What are my thoughts about frame per second and the beta release? Oh, I see, that's a troll question. It's trying to get Insobot to say the maximum things. Oh my God, somebody take that out if anybody is here who can actually do that. Okay, so when we save out a level, I believe we already have a function that gets called that just like does whatever needs to be done. Something like that. I don't remember what it's called. Maybe it's not here. Maybe it's called before here. Oh, that's this. Wait, what? Oh, this is right. This is this. No, this is like literally the function that gets called. Let's go to the world panel. Okay, so these things. Editor save. Okay. Yeah, so here we're doing some settings check. Okay. Here I'm going to say update freezers. You remember that turning bug from when I was working on my sine and cosine functions? Really? Do you think we messed up the sine and cosine functions? I don't think so. So the bug probably predates that. Okay. I want to say find at oh no, do we have a proximity grid? This may not actually work. Let's see. No, let's do so we need to don't break the freezer. Runtime only flags. Whoops. Okay. I don't know if we put things in the grid when we're in the editor. You know what I should have done? I should have made some tea and then made tea noodles. I bet that's really good. Don't you think tea noodles would be good? Okay. So now this thing doesn't have it set. ID of frozen entity is not set. Now it is set. Oh, it found it. Why is that not? Wait. Why is ID of frozen entity? Oh, we didn't tag it. It's not smart enough to know if we don't tag it. All right. It should be the right ID, though. In which case, we are a winner. So this thing, 4935. Oh, wait. We put the, wait, what? Oh, that's unlocked by ID, sorry. Sorry, save 4933. So now the question is, why didn't that save? It's because we didn't note change. So we only want to do this if it's different we do that so that the editor knows what we're doing. And then it'll save. And that'll be good. All right? Okay. Great. And then we'll add a step off direction. So that means we need to bump the version of the entity. And then if we hit X on this, so we want to go to use magic. right? Okay, what is use freezer going to do? It is going to be target is find manager freezer dot, what is it called again? ID of frozen entity. If there's no target, we don't know what the hell is going on. Otherwise, we say, what do we say in this case? We say, don't we want to pass a transaction? Okay. New guy pause guy.position plus get direction vector freezer.step off direction, right? Because you have to vacate the square for the thing to go there. Okay, no, not target move, not freezer. So the guy's going to teleport, I guess, and the target's going to teleport for now. We might make the guy walk later, but we're just going to teleport for now. Okay, so what are these? Make default teleport guy move guy. Oh, guy. Oh, dummy delta. And then target move for target dummy delta. It's just because this function wants an argument of a physical delta, but we don't actually use that in the way that you would expect. Okay, so we make these teleports, which just fills out these structs, but we're going to say, do we actually need that? Let's see. It sets the move type and the teleport direction, but not the start position, interestingly. Yeah. And then where did we go before? Oh, activate. Yeah. Um, let's just do this. Okay, great. Theoretically, that's enough. Okay. Oh, we forgot to wrap the position. Really? Oh, grid. Oh, you know what? We didn't mark this. Hope somebody caught this. Hope somebody caught that. We didn't mark it. We didn't mark it to mark it. Okay. So theoretically, if I push this over here and I'm like, oh, drat, I messed up the puzzle. Boom. We reset it. Bam. Bam. Okay, great. Now the problem is, like, bad things will happen sometimes. Because we don't really reset various object states. So like, if this thing is sunk, for example, let's say I skip it. Against these rocks, it'll sink, and then we won't redo that state. All right. Oh, we don't actually, wait, what? That was weird. I wonder what's preventing us from doing the reset. So if we go there, wait, we killed the reset all of a sudden. Because I added more entities? What? What happened? What happened? Oh, no, because I have to, right, I forgot. There's no frickin' button prompt. It doesn't happen by walking over it. It's on X. So I'm going to go X. Okay. See, this is like up in the air now because yeah, that's not good. So we need to do some stuff to it. I don't know what other entity types might need special handling, but for now, rocks do. We're kind of cheating here. I think that's it. Okay, we're not handling the case when an entity gets destroyed. You won't be able to reset it, which is interesting. All right. Huh. Okay, well, we have to change the right. That's pretty funny. Okay. Are the streaks meant to stay there? Sure, why not? Why wouldn't they? Because it's not an undo exactly. Time like doesn't go backwards like it does an undo. This is just a reset of just that one entity. So I don't think it makes sense to get rid of the streaks. Okay. I think it's about gaming time. It's about the time that I said that I would do gaming with Casey. So let me commit this. Added the freezer entity. Hopefully there's no check-ins. I forget what game that I said to Casey that we would play. I don't remember what game it was. There was some game, maybe people on chat can help out. It was some game that like came out on the Epic Games Store in January or February. And it's like some kind of, it's kind of like Satisfactory kind of thing where it's a build stuff and explore game. Does anyone know what that was? Oh yeah, Journey to the Savage Planet. We're going to go to the Epic Games Store Do I even have that installed? I have to download the Epic Games Store. I need to make sure my gamer headphones still work. Like, I don't even think they're plugged in. It's going to be a whole thing. Remember when games used to not require a store? No, games used to require you to walk into a physical store like in the mall. All right. Do I even remember my Epic Games account? Probably not. Forgot my password. Password reset instructions. I cannot reuse one of my last 5. Maybe that's my current password. Let's see. Haha, the password I tried to change it to was one that I didn't try and was the actual right password. Okay. Okay. Lol. Account safety. Okay. Store. Savage Planet. Journey to the Savage Planet. Buy now. Place order. What is my... I don't know what my CVV is on that. Oh, God. Fuck you. Now I have to go log into a website to figure out the CVV on my non-physical card. Do I remember the password for that one? Browser does. Thank you. Thank you. How do I frickin'... Why do people keep changing their website interfaces to never show me the one thing that I want to know? Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay. Great. An email receipt has been sent to me. Install. Oh, I totally read all that. Okay. I hope that was exciting for all the people. Maybe I'll open, oh no. So like, I still don't think I can log into Discord, everybody. I'm doing another forgot password because I don't want to get super ding-donged. All right. Hey, look, everybody. We did Discord, except it's not the program. Okay. Where is... Okay, so that's just open for when Casey shows up, I guess. Okay. I let the tea get cold because I was having a nice hot noodle cup. All right, so while we're just waiting for Casey to show up and be ready, we'll just do a little bit more here. Like I'll send out the email to the people. I have added the basic ability to unlock entities on the overworld and to recall them. There's an example at the starting point. I deleted the other two characters, which may mean we need to accelerate experimenting with an alternate solution of getting around. Just like that, the entity is just like level entries, has some fields that control unlocking. they could be activated by any of a few different levels, or they could require multiple, etc. Because there are weird cases like this requiring two levels both to be solved to unlock the thing, that would mean there is no unique place to stand on one of the levels. I just added the reset to the freezer itself. There is a step off direction on the freezer that controls where the character teleports to when activated. The freezer knows what entity it's in control of by looking when you save the level, so you don't need to manually update that field. Though you could do an interesting thing later on where some freezers start with their entities moved out of position initially. In those cases, it would have to be manually set. Some entity state on skipping stones gets reset right now, but there is no attempt to deal with water, current reset, etc. That is something we can look at later. Also, there is probably some other entity. Oh, hey, here's Casey. What? I am in the... I'm not in the Discord channel. I am in chat with C. Muratori here, if you will notice. You see how prepared that I am? Do you see what I did? And yet you didn't go there. You assumed that I would go to like this. I mean, that's not accurate. To be set on other stuff, there is, I don't even know if Discord is, oh yeah, I have to be here.
Yo.
Hello. Hello.
What's up?
I have 2 more sentences to type in this email and then I'll be ready to go. I should have downloaded the game by now. Yeah.
What are the 2 sentences?
The sentences are something like, well, I forgot now because
Oh, shit.
you rudely interrupted me.
Okay.
There is no control prompt, yet you press X to activate the freezer, which will of course activate any other magic. We can change this if we want later, but it seems interesting, e.g. if we use these in an end game. I don't know what else. Oh, freezers will also not currently reset entities that have been destroyed, including stones that skip off the map or things that teleport to infinity. Can handle that a bit later. ... Okay, that's enough. I'm going to send this email to people in the company. title, subject, overworld, entity reset. Bam. Okay. Done. So before we journey to the savage planet, I'm going to try using my gamer headphones that I haven't used in months.
Because you are a pro gamer.
Well, I am sometimes. Oh, the battery's still charged for some reason. It's actually not that low. Let me get the base station over here. Someone's saying I've got mad echo. Well, maybe you should shut off both twitch.tv streams.
I'm not streaming.
Oh, well, turn off your telepathy, dude. Okay, so if I go to settings, I have not used Discord in a long time, man. Output device. Okay, say something now. Oh, that totally worked. Except now the people cannot hear you, I'm sure, because they are listening in on a different thing. But then, well, like leaving OBS on like default, you would think would track whatever the Windows current output is, but it doesn't do that. So I always switch it around between whatever specific device. So I put you on the headphones, but they're hearing the desktop. Yeah, it was the royal you, as in the people out there might think. Yeah. Yeah. So I am going to, I guess, split the stream. So I'm going to hit stop everybody on the stream, and then I'm going to hit start. And it'll become suddenly a gaming stream, as if by magic. Why do I have like 18 audio devices now? It's too many. Like seriously, people, here's my audio device list, my output. Like, what is this? I want 2 things. I don't want 18 things. Like microphones show up as speaker outputs. Like what? Okay. And then there's headphones versus headset earphone, which is very confusing. All right. All right. So we'll be back instantaneously.